That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. I don't know how this one's going to go. Welcome in. Is it going to be a Friday fun day or a Friday freak out edition of the Always Irish Show? Thanks, everybody, for being here. I see the regulars are already in the chat. Matt Miller, a regular. Thanks for being here. Richard, I see Shep. I think he's getting in trouble at work. Illegally streaming a radio program on the job, Shep. I'm telling your boss, you're in big, big trouble. All right. The resident Ohio State fan, Kent's in the house. Loves Ohio State. Found the show that week. Can't quit me. I love you, Kent. I'm going to invite you to South Bend when Ohio State comes next year. All right. So, if you haven't yet, please hit subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Helps in the search algorithm. Appreciate that very much. Notifications on. You be alerted every time a new show drops. Something bad happens and I got to freak out. You don't want to miss it. All right. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Here's the thing about the emails. I know tomorrow I'm going to have some extra passes to the tailgate event, folks. This is why I got that many passes and did all this. So if anybody's coming to town, there's a few people I'm already set up to meet with, have some passes assigned for. I'm going to have some extras. So if you and your wife or a couple people, you and your kid are coming to the game tomorrow and you want to do a private tailgate event, food, drinks, old players come through early, players come through after the game. If you're interested in that, email or direct message me on Twitter, and I will try and direct you to find that and meet up with me, and then we can meet and have a couple beers, okay? So feel free to do that at any time. I would love to meet up with more people. Listen, folks, everybody's wound so tight. Like, this is just not where you want to be week 3, where I just feel this apprehension and I feel this wait and see kind of vibe. That ain't where you want to be right now. It's just a tough vibe. And that's what I'm feeling right now. Maybe you guys all feel different, but you know that feeling Friday afternoon comes, and you start getting excited about college football, and then you start thinking, okay, I'm not that far away from Notre Dame playing my weekends here. This is what I want to enjoy. That's just not where we're at, all right? Like, I'm excited to go to Notre Dame tomorrow, but I'm not going to lie. I'm on the edge of my seat, not in a good way. It's wait and see. Hope you don't see what you don't want to see type of deal. And I feel badly about that because I feel like our team needs the home crowd tomorrow more than they ever did. More than they ever did. All right? Like, they need some support, and everybody's going to be in wait and see. And if our first offensive series goes bad, I'm nervous about the vibe. All right? I'm just nervous about the vibe. And I think that's fair. But I'm getting in there in the morning, and we're going to have a good time. It's Notre Dame football. We waited forever for that. Things are going to get better. We're going to have ourselves a good day tomorrow, no matter what. Hopefully, before the game will be fun for sure. I can't promise anything else. It's just where we're at, guys. I don't love it. It's just where we're at right now. Oh, Kent Jackson, you'll win. They'll win because you're there, John. When has that ever worked for me before, Kent? Oh, man. If they lose, Lord, Kent, don't. It's too early. It's 9:05, Kent. Give me a little time to let the coffee kick in before you start doing this to me. Look at this. Chris Totten. I feel like you need to switch off the decaf. You just don't have enough energy. Maybe a pre-workout. I'll look into that. I know. I have been told that the one downside of my show is I don't show enough energy and my delivery is boring. So I'm going to work on that. We got a handful of phone calls already. I'm going to try and switch it up, get to those early. So on a Friday, people have game thoughts. I want your predictions. Do you expect we see something different? Do you? We better. We better. I saw somebody put 24-16 in the chat. That's in the ballpark. That's what I picked with USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. Go check it out. I just tweeted it before I went live. All of our picks are out. That's the ballpark I'm in. I expect low scoring and ugly and frustrating. I just do. I just do, folks. I've heard people say this week, hey, what if this really was just an Ohio State hangover? You know, you physically got beat up there. You're a little upset that you didn't get the win, and you came back home and you slept walk, and then it just snowballed on you. Now you're going to show up this week, different story. I'm open to that. But on the flip side, I saw a lot of things in this first two games that make me think it isn't fluky. Like if it was a South Florida situation last week, I look at it different. I really do. I look at it different. Like the South Florida year, running up and down the field, moving the ball with ease, but just making these catastrophic, dumb, silly, random turnovers right when you're going into score. That was frustrating, but in a different way. At least then you could be like, we moved the ball. Great. We just fumbled it on the goal line or threw an interception going in the end zone, you know? Here, what do you got? Like, what do you got? Where are you building? It's a bad place to be, and I don't like it. But I like talking to you guys about it. It makes me feel better. V1 Rotate, thanks for being here. Good donator too. $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Appreciate that. Freeman doesn't have to be a jerk, but maybe as a leader, he should be a little more strict and hold his players and coaches to the standard of play at Notre Dame. And if they can't, they're out. Now, V1 Rotate V2, thanks for the super chat. And that is a very fair point. And here's what I think about it. Nobody wanted to hear this in the summer and over the winter. No one wanted to hear this. But multiple times on my show, I went out of my way to say word for word, my fear is that there's a lot more issues around here left from Captain Kelly than anybody wants to admit. And they're going to have to be dealt with before we get to where we want to go and where the ultimate goal of the Freeman era leads us in our minds. I said that all offseason, and I didn't want it to be true. I was hoping to be proven wrong. I was hoping that it wouldn't work out that way, but it is. And that's just, it's frustrating, and you're going to have to work through it. I had somebody tell me yesterday, they said, John, maybe Freeman's changing things here. And the more the shift in mentality, maybe the longer it takes to get everybody on board. I don't know. But we need to see something different. We just do. We got something to build on. So V1, thanks for the chat. We got something to build on. A new quarterback. Yes and no. I mean, yes and no. But like, I can't. I got to say no on this. You can't say you're building when you're starting your backup quarterback. That's not what you build from. You build around an elite starting quarterback and everything comes around it. I don't know if this is in jest or dead serious, but there's no way I could say if the building block of Notre Dame's team is a new quarterback that wasn't even the starter, that ain't a good spot. It ain't a good spot. You can't say you're building around Pine when he's the backup. You can't be there. That ain't a healthy spot. Looking for silver linings. Hey, I get it. And listen, folks, Drew Pine, go for it, buddy. It's your time to shine. Time to shine for Pine. Like, I'm all for it. I'm supporting him. I want him to be great. I want him to surprise us all. I want my blood pressure to be lowered because he's doing good things and the offense is moving. I want all that. I'm just nervous of if we're going to see it or not. And There's no doubt, everybody knows Drew Pine has certain physical limitations. That's not an insult. It's a physical fact based on his muscular skeleton. I don't know what else to say. And I just want everybody to know, if he goes in there and struggles, a lot of it might not even be him. And that's life as a quarterback. You take all the heat, you get a lot of the credit. And it's like, whatever changes I want to see with the offense, pivoting off everything that wasn't working the first 2 weeks, that's all great. If you can't block it up, it isn't going to matter that much who's out there. But I just hope that we do see some changes, like visually. Like, I'm not talking behind the scenes. Let's talk about accountability. I'm talking when I see the Notre Dame offense out there this week, I want it to look different. I do. I need it to look different. I need to look out there and see they're trying to get Chris Tyree the ball more. I need to see that they're trying to isolate Styles with open space to catch and run. Like, I need to see all that. I can't have a half dozen 2nd and 10 runs right up the middle into a wall for nothing. Like, you can't. You can't. All right? And I'm going to tell you what I would do. If I'm Cal, I am just 100% loading up to stop the run and saying, go ahead and try and beat us. We don't think your new quarterback can throw, and we don't trust your wide receivers or your line. We'll dare you. That's what I would do. And then if Pine could do it, beautiful. Love it. But if I'm Cal, that's my plan. It's all on tape now. That's what I'm doing. And I'm saying, go ahead. Beat us through the air. Can we do it? I don't know. We're going to go to the phones. Let's get it cranking early. 361. Let's have a little fun. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, John? It's Mike, your 5'0" friend.
What's going on, man? How are you feeling? I have nervous apprehension, but I'm open to the thought it might look a little better. We get it together and look a little more put together this week. Where are you at? What do you feel? What's your prediction?
Okay, prediction. I said on my show, 24-14. And the 14 is just, that's what I expect, Cal. I don't think we're going to get more than 24. And what I want to see is Tommy Rees, like you've said, and I've said as well, adapt and realize what his personnel strengths are and utilize them. And until I see it, I'm not going to predict Notre Dame to score more than 20, 24 points.
Well, I don't think you can, because you kind of need to see it. And there's just too many issues to count on that. So this is another week where I think it's really important the defense really steps up. With all the issues going on right now, that defense is a lot closer to being a full comprehensive unit than the offense is. They need to step up. I'm sick of the no turnovers when your offense is struggling. They need to come up this week. Strip sack, pick six, flip the field, help that offense out because they need it.
Absolutely. The defense looked very formidable against Ohio State. And honestly, they didn't look awful against Marshall until the end, but not to make excuses. But when you're on the field as much as you are, eventually something's got to give. And unfortunately, that led to a 95-yard drive by Marshall. But it still comes back to the offense. And, you know, what we're expecting from Drew Pine and the offense, I mean, if Tommy Rees couldn't draw it up with the talent that Tyler Buckner has, what is it going to look like with a lesser version of Ian Book under center? That's
I know.
My biggest fear is that it's going to look even worse.
Well, that's kind of the scary part. Yeah, I mean, I think that's my fear as well. And it's just not a great place to be. But Pine has a lot of confidence. That's the one thing. He's undersized and all that. But the one thing he doesn't lack is confidence. Now, some folks will say that works against him. He'll throw the ball in coverage or take some undue risks. So I just need to see other parts of the team step up to support this young guy trying to learn how to do this. Like the line, just provide a little more protection. Like, I'm not asking for perfection, but you can't be what you've been.
No, absolutely. And maybe because Pine is, I won't say playing with nothing to lose, but there maybe is an element of that. He is very confident. And there were situations where, for whatever reason, we weren't calling a play that I felt we should call, 3rd and 3, 4th and 1 with Buckner as the quarterback. To me, read option is the only play there because you're making the defense think. You got multiple things you can do off of that. With Pine, there's not as much of that because he's just not the runner Tyler Buckner is. So maybe it plays into what Tommy Reese is trying to do, and Pine can make it work. But it's more about what Tommy Reese has shown through 2 games with him having quote unquote all the controls versus what Pine's limitations are. Because I know we were limited at receiver and other things, but the fact of the matter is we did have talented personnel in spots, i.e. Chris Tyree. You were actively calling plays that made sure he was not involved. That makes no sense to me. So it's more about Reese adapting than it is what Pine's limitations are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So, but this is just, I'm struggling all week because there's just no easy solutions. Right when I think I find an angle, then something else comes into play. So given all of that, your best rushing offense was Buckner. Yeah, factually, that was it, was him running around. Now you're not going to have that. Pine's not as fast. So what do you draw up then if you're Reese? You're in a bad spot. You can't really rely on the run game. So now you have this Pine situation. You can't run the same stuff with his legs. What do you set up then to succeed tomorrow offensively? How would you set it up and structure it for Pine?
The plays that worked that I got excited about with Buckner had nothing to do with, honestly, Buckner's overall ceiling. It was good drawn-up plays, misdirection, where you're moving the defense and creating a hole behind the linebackers, or you're shifting them one direction, leaving space for a receiver. And the lack of Chris Tyree, just get hit. He's standing right next to the quarterback. Just pitch him the ball real quick and let him do what he does. But it's just a lot of misdirection. I hate to say this, but we got to be creative like lesser teams are creative. Like Navy runs a triple option because that's all they've got. And the triple option is a lot of, for defensively, you got to be on assignment. You can't be tricked by misdirection. I think we need a little bit of misdirection more so than we already were doing it, because I didn't think we're doing it enough. But that's my overall point is the simple answer: misdirection with your offense. Move the defense away from where you want to ultimately go, create space where you do want to go. We've done it. I don't know why we don't do it more. And the times we did do it, it wasn't about Buckner's arm strength, speed, whatever. It was a good play design. Well done, Tommy Reese. Do it more.
Yeah. And some of this, listen, I understand that I'm not a football coach. I'm not an X's and O's expert. I don't claim to be on this program. That's not my point of the program, is to do all that kind of analytics. I'm just a guy in my basement. All right. But they make it seem harder than it has to be sometimes. It's like they asked Tommy, how are you going to try and get Tyree more involved? Well, we really got to figure out how to do this. And we really want to make him more. We got to find ways to do it. It's not that hard. Put him in there, snap the ball, give it to him. Why is that hard? They make it harder than it has to be sometimes, and I just don't understand that. This offense lacks explosive plays. Get your best guys that have a chance to provide those the ball as much as possible. Why is that so hard? Just do it. Do it.
I said this on my show, the whole argument, get Chris Tyree the ball. You know what the difference between Chris Tyree getting the ball and not getting the ball when he's in the game is if the center snaps it 2 feet to the right. It will hit him in the face. That's how close he is to not getting the ball when you snap it to the center. It's not that hard. But on top of that, the Tobias Merriweather stuff. I played receiver at Division III. I know it's not D1, it's not Notre Dame. I played Division III football. I was a receiver. There are enough routes in the playbook where there's only one route for that play. There's no route tree. There's no options. You're trying to tell me that you can't have plays where Merriweather is like, hey, this is the only route you have to run. Run it as hard as you can. Go get the ball and be what you can be. Is it that hard?
Yep. And
I don't get it.
Me neither. And what I've been saying about that is when that question gets asked, then it comes up, well, we only want to run guys out there that have proven they could be relied upon, know the full route tree, could do everything we need them to do. Like you got to be a good block. You got to be able to do everything to go out there. I get that. If you're in charge of Ohio State's wide receiver room, that is a luxury Notre Dame doesn't have right now, to be that picky about what you have to do to get on the field. Notre Dame, I do not think, has that luxury offensively, especially at that position. You are in dire need of a spark. You may find one that you don't even know you have. And if you don't, you don't. You throw them 3 balls, realize it didn't work out or whatever. Try something. You have nothing going for you. Try something.
Agreed. Hey, thanks, John. I love that you're doing this, man. Enjoy the game. Let's end the stigma of the green jerseys. Let's win this thing.
There you go. Let's get them. Thanks for the call. Enjoy the ball game. Call again, man.
Yes, sir.
Take care. We got ourselves a wide receiver on the line, folks. All right. I starred a couple of these chats that I thought were interesting. Let's see. Ooh. You sure you want to get me going on this one, Richard? This early in the morning? That's a good-looking mustache Richard has there. Your stash is not trash, my friend. That's a good-looking one. Here's the deal. Are you concerned about the lack of quarterback in the 2023 class? This is why half my hairline's falling out, Richard. Of course I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned about Notre Dame's quarterback room my entire life. Quite frankly, I've been concerned about this. And again, all of these things may just be the way it has to be when you hire a first-time young coach at a big program like this with this brand name cachet. The microscope's on you every single minute of every day of every year. Maybe all of these things are calibrations you just have to learn on the fly, and it isn't as easy as we all hoped, and you're going to have to go down before you come up. Maybe that's it, guys. With somebody commented earlier, maybe Freeman's too much buddy, and the guys aren't scared of the accountability end of it. Maybe he needs to be tougher on them. That might be a personal calculation and calibration Marcus has to navigate and wade through and figure out. That's what that might be. This quarterback situation in 23. Notre Dame had all that momentum, late winter into spring, early summer in recruiting, had all that momentum. We were all feeling ourselves, feeling great about it. Go all in on Dante Moore, the gold throne. I was in here all excited. We were all, yes. You went all in on that guy. You did a great pitch. We could discuss the reasons he didn't commit to the Irish. A lot of them are not Notre Dame's fault or within their control, but you didn't get him. What's your pivot? If Carr's not reclassifying, where do you go? All right, so now you're in a real bad spot, and the quarterback room's not in a great spot. I don't know. A lot of people are bringing up the kid who's going to lose that Michigan starting battle. They got the 2 Irish kids there, and people are saying the one who isn't going to get that job between McCarthy and the other one, we can get him. I don't know. People asked about the transfer portal. Was Notre Dame in the mix for guys? I heard Slovis was talked about. I don't know. I heard there were a couple different guys and it didn't work out, and I don't know why. So yeah, I'm very concerned about 23 quarterback. If Notre Dame could find a way to stabilize their quarterback room, life would get a lot easier for them real quick. I'm just telling you, it's the most important position in the sport. If Notre Dame could ever just find a guy to hitch their wagon to that you knew was elite, could be the leader, and pull everything behind him, it would make life a lot easier for the entire program. I'm telling you, it's the biggest stabilizing factor you can have in football is having a great quarterback that you just know Not, I hope Saturday goes good. I hope we can complete it. But you just know. You know your guy. You know what he could do. You know he's a leader. You know what you're going to get. And then you could figure out everything else. We are so used to not having that. We almost forget that it's possible and that other teams do, So that would make life a lot easier. Jay Baker, start taking more transfers. The issue with that is it's hard to transfer into Notre Dame. It is. It just is. Didn't Brian Kelly have like 30 something transfers flipping that roster? It's not easy, folks. And that's an issue. That's a challenge for Notre Dame. What that means, because it's so hard to transfer into Notre Dame, mid-college, because it's so hard to do that, and you can't maneuver that on the fly to fill in gaps on your roster, Notre Dame has to be extra perfect in recruiting. This all tightens the vice on your recruiting operation. When you don't have the flexibility to go, oh, we need 3 guys in the portal. Oh, you can't read? Doesn't matter. You're fast. Come on in. That doesn't work in Notre Dame. They also don't have junior college feeder programs lined up when you need a guy. All of these little things unique about the way Notre Dame is structured put pressure on recruiting. Notre Dame has to be extra good at it because you don't have the extra leeway these other folks do to fill out your roster. So it's frustrating. Going to go back to the phones here. 386, you're going to be up next right after I read this comment. John mentioned it before. Reese running the offense he wants, not the offense that suits his personnel. Here's the deal with that. Here's the deal with that. The more I'm thinking about what the offense looks like early this year, the more frustrated I'm getting with whatever evaluation process took place or didn't take place in spring and fall camp. How can anybody tell me Reese did not horribly miscalculate what this offense could be to start the year? That's really upsetting to me. Everything that they thought we would be able to do and run, we're not able to do and run at all. How can you miscalculate your own guys to this extent, especially when I'm told you're a genius at this and you're the best guy at this? That's really where I'm struggling. You came into the year trying to make Tyler Buchner a drop back pocket passer and have a power running game. And then you learned in 2 minutes, you can't run the ball at all. And Tyler Buchner is not good or comfortable being a drop back pocket passer. But that was the plan. You're killing me. Going into the summer, it's like you're thinking Tyler Buchner's going to be the guy. What would Tommy Reese, what would I do if I'm Reese to build out an offense that suits Tyler Buchner right now? What would you do, John? And I sat there and I thought, well, what is Buchner best at? Well, doing things on the move, rolling out, running, RPO. He could run it. He could keep it. He could drag it out and make a linebacker have to make a decision. Go guard the guy for the pass or let me run. Tyler Buchner, as a young guy especially, operated better with less thinking and processing and more reacting. That is where he operated best, and the offense seemed to have some rhythm. We came into the year, didn't do any of that. Wasn't the plan. Power run and then throw it to nobody is the plan. That's what makes me nervous. Yeah, guys have to block. Harry, AARP called. You're not retired anymore. Let's go. Move people. Move them. Okay. Listen, I'm fine with Pine. I'm not hating on him. But God, I mean, if you're going to be under 6 feet, you got to at least be really fast. You can't be under 6 feet and not fast. It's a problem. All right. 386. What's your fix? Give me something good.
What's going on, John? It's Connor down here in Daytona Beach again. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, my friend. Where are you at with all this, and how are you feeling entering tomorrow's contest?
Well, this is a huge game, and to say the least. But, I've said it from the beginning since we hired Freeman that it's going to need, as a fan base, we're going to need patience, because it's just a matter of time before he actually is able to build his own roster and, get things going. And he was just put in a tough situation, and more than people think. But personally, for this Cal game, we have to come out and, play how we know we're capable of playing. We've said it multiple times, but this team has talent at every position, and we've got to expose them.
Yeah,
it comes down to Tommy. I give Tommy. He has to call a different game plan.
He does not have an option. Like, I'm really genuinely interested. There is no way he can run out there and try and do things we've been doing. Like, there's just no, you can't do that. So I really am interested to see what looks a little different. And again, this is not the place you want to be, but this isn't about style points, loading up, getting extra guys time and snaps. You are not in that position. You do not have that luxury. I don't even care if this game's ugly. Like, that's frustrating. Big picture, it doesn't matter. You need to put out the fire for at least 1 week, stabilize things.
Yeah.
You just have to. And it is very upsetting to say, it's upsetting to be like, Cal is everything, but like, it's just where we're at. You can't go to 0-3 and then have a trip to North Carolina and then BYU coming at you. You can't do it. You can't do it.
No.
So just find a damn way.
Yep. You have to find a way at all costs to win the game, no matter how it looks, no matter how it happens. You have to win this game. And that's the only thing that can, totally reset this team, is getting a win. That's the only thing that's going to overcome the emotions that they've dealt with in the past week and a half. It's,
what I've learned
again,
I've learned this through life. There is no substitute for winning. Like, there just isn't. Winning is just this palate cleanser that has a way to just kind of make things better. And even if it's just 1 week, to build a little confidence and to kind of push some of the flames out a little, that's super beneficial. You cannot afford to drop to 0-3 with those 2 games staring right at you. You just can't. And so it's gut check time. It's leadership time. Who in that locker room is going to say, we've seen enough, we're wearing our green, and we're going to go win the game?
Yep. And that's what I was going to make a point as to the leadership. We haven't really seen it very much in the first 2 games. So I don't care if you're wearing a C on your jersey or not. We need to see that leadership no matter, who you are on the team. I don't care if you're a freshman or a 5th-year senior. We just need to play cohesive, and that's been a problem too. There's been no cohesion, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I'm hoping Pine can bring that. And I'm one of the fans out there that has some confidence in him from the things that I've seen. He's been put in situations in games. We can look at Wisconsin, we can look at Cincinnati. If he gets the play call, if Tommy can give him the play call, which that's the first step, let him make some plays, that's the only thing we can rely on. I mean, that's again, like you said, the situation we're in. We have to give him plays that we know Pine can make.
Now, here's the other thing I want to think about, trying to be as fair as possible to Drew Pine entering this ball game. We've seen Drew Pine, correct me if I'm wrong, though, I don't believe we've seen him as the pure starter. We've seen him in mop-up or injury duty. I don't think we've seen him setting up a week where he's running the first team, getting all those reps and all of that. I am very much open to the idea that he may look better than what we've seen because you could build a week of offense for him as the head guy, getting all those snaps in the week preparing. That's what a normal team would do. I'm in a position where I can't trust that they're doing the right things to do all that this week with Pine. I hope I see that.
Yeah.
But that is one thing in my mind. Maybe you set him up for the whole week as the 1 reps. Maybe it does look different. I'm open to that. But I still need the offensive line to like block people once in a while.
Pancake people. Yeah. And I've been thinking about this Marshall game too. And I'm not blaming obviously us going and making that prayer before the game, but like, we've had a lot of kids that have never done that. They've never made a true prayer in a church and go out and play some football. So I'm not sure if that's a factor into it. Like they just they didn't have the mentality, or I don't know what it was in that game. Obviously, I'm not trying to go off, topic a little bit here, but I've just kind of been thinking about that. And to me, there's just certain factors in that game that played in these kids' minds. And I'm thinking that might have been one of them. Not obviously every player, but I mean, geez, we got to make a prayer this week and go out and freaking demolish some people.
What do you make of, let me flip this on you. Let's flip this over to the defense. We talk a lot about the offense. Flip it over to the defense. What do you make of the fact that Notre Dame has no turnovers, and I believe they're second to last in the country in like batted balls or tip balls even? What do you make of this? Why, like the havoc? There's just no havoc except for all of us destroying our living rooms every game. Like where's the defense causing that disruption? What are you seeing there? Why are we not seeing that kind of stuff?
That's tough too, because when you look at the Ohio State game, it seemed like they were in positions to maybe, cause turnovers more than they were even in the Marshall game, which I find that dynamic very interesting, how you go from that environment to the first game to what you did against Marshall. And that's a tough question, because you would think, the guys and talent that we have on the team, they can be disruptive and get to the ball and fly around. But like even last week, we saw Marshall, they knew that we were going to throw those curl routes, so their corners were jumping on it. And our corners weren't doing that. Like throughout the whole game. Just the aggressiveness and some of those play calls where our players are smart enough to know what plays they might be running and might have those. They need to use their instincts. Like, where are the instincts? That's what I think it's coming down to in our defense. Like, if our guys trust their instincts, we can start turning the ball over, but they're not trusting themselves.
Yeah.
Like, where is that?
And the one thing that hurts you in football is hesitation. Hesitation. That's all it takes, is that split second in your mind. Even if it doesn't alter your body, what you're doing or how you're moving, that one split second in your mind.
The double pass. We gave up a 30-yard run play on a double pass. That's hesitation.
Yeah.
We had Botelho and Leofau running at that receiver, and they took the wrong angle, both of them.
And you know what else?
Bad.
You know what else with the hesitation? Football. This crossed my mind, and it's being asked, and it's a fair question because of where we're at. I've seen people ask, are the offensive linemen playing hesitant because they're scared of what'll happen from Harry if they mess something up? So they're like being hesitant. Like, I don't know about that, but I can't rule anything out right now because of where we're at. I just can't.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Along with that, confusion. There's got to be confusion, because we're going from what we did last year with Cone, and now we're trying to be a run offense. So it seems like the O-line doesn't know if they're going to be dropping back for now Pine, or if they were trying to, push forward for a run play. It's like, didn't matter what the play call was. It didn't seem like they knew what they were freaking doing.
I can't listen. Alton Fisher, I've just expected more, and they get a lot of fanfare. Alton Fisher, I expected more. Lug and Corral are not moving anybody. They get no push whatsoever, and that's a problem. And it's both of them a lot of the time. I'm upset because you're already offensively challenged. Even if the offensive line was serviceable, you would still be offensively challenged. You just can't afford this. You can't afford it. So get it right this week. So what's your prediction? You think we pull it off? By the way, 614, you're up next on the phones. What's your prediction? You think it's ugly and we pull it out? Or do you think we go to 0-3 and I come in here and this studio's on fire next week? What happens?
No, my predictions for this game is I think we're going to actually come out and run some plays that are going to throw off their defense, which is going to obviously allow us to score the ball a couple times this week. And I think our defense is good enough to watch the film and see what they really did wrong against Marshall and have a good bounce back game. So my score prediction is 27-13. I think we're going to be able to hold them to a couple field goals and not let them score on a couple drives. But I think Tommy really had a real good, deep thought about, the game plan this week. And I'm hoping, obviously, the players can turn it into points. But I do see us winning this game. Again, we said it earlier, I don't care how we do it or what the score is. We could win by 1 point. We just need to win the game.
Yep, you need to stop the bleeding. And then what that buys you is it cools the heat just for like a week. And then you just need to figure out how you're going to win the next game. Like, this is just going to be a week-to-week struggle this year, everybody. Everyone needs to understand that.
Literally.
The situation we're in. This is going to be a literal week-to-week stressful struggle. And we just need to, that's just what it's going to be. And I don't see that changing this year. It's shocking, but that's what it is. So everybody needs to prepare for that. There are no gimmies this year. Maybe later in the year, the play improves greatly and whatever, then I'll look at it different. But right now, you in trouble, man. You're so just find a way to get it done tomorrow. I don't care how it looks by 1 point to pour some water on some of the flames. And then we get it lined up and try and go to North Carolina and win. Hey, you know what else I'm open to as I let you go? I'm open to this team getting on the road. I am. I honestly think not going to Ohio State, not going to Penn State at night, not going to LSU at night. No. But going to a quieter Cal. I wouldn't mind if this Cal game was at their place. 90% of the place would be empty. It'd be really quiet. And you wouldn't feel that. I'm telling you, I know the vibe in the stadium tomorrow. Everyone's going to feel it, and it's waiting for the worst thing to happen is the vibe tomorrow. And I almost would have preferred this was a road game, but not a intense one, to be able to relieve some of that pressure in front of the home crowd. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it crossed my mind. It might help them guys to be away from people like me sitting there waiting for the next shoe to drop,
Yep. It's, man, we, as diehard fans, I know it, John, we did not think we'd ever be in this situation, but here we are.
Yeah. Listen, man,
at the beginning of the show, we just got to have the patience, man.
I knew there were going to be learning issues and growing pains. One of your growing pains can't be losing to Marshall at home, man. It just can't be. Right. You can have all the pains in the world, but that's one I couldn't have. Well, try and enjoy the game. Sip yourself a cold one and have fun with it. It's all you can do.
Yes, sir, John. Appreciate the call.
No problem. Call again and take care. Enjoy yourself down there in beautiful Daytona.
Yes, sir. Go Irish.
Take care.
Later.
614, you're going to be up next. And then 612 is coming after that. Reminder, folks. Tailgate party tomorrow, private event, Irish Players Club. We have beer, we have food. Got to have a ticket to get in, private spot. Email me, direct message me. I still have a few passes left. I'd be happy to give you one. You don't have to stay there all day. Go hang out with your people, do what you want to do, but come say hi. Feel free. Also, note, if you want to get in the phone lines and you want to jump the line, anybody who super chats any amount goes right to the top of the call list. That's the way it is, folks. Money talks, bullshit walks. All right? So if you donate, you go right to the top of the list and you can yell at me unless you're Kent, the Ohio State fan. Steven, the mortgage man. Freeman fanboys want to sell you. Freeman took over a broken program with a terrible OC, and it just ain't true. Average DC got promoted and is in way over his coaching head. It's tough, man. That's tough. That's real tough. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's break this down. I never said Notre Dame Marcus Freeman took over a broken program. I am putting myself in the Marcus Freeman fanboy club. I have to put myself there. I was one of the first people dropping the Freeman factor hashtag the year he was defensive coordinator, and then saw how he was recruiting and started suggesting maybe he's just the next head coach. So I have to call myself and be accountable and say that I'm included in the Marcus Freeman fanboy. However, no one ever said that he inherited a broken program. That was never said here ever. I've been saying he inherited a really, 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 really good top end tier 2 program. And that's the only reason Marcus got hired. If you did not have stability and a stable foundation and the success we've had the last handful of years, it would be too risky and Notre Dame wouldn't feel like they could hire Marcus. But because of that stability that's in place and the culture and the structure, they felt that they could do it. But in no way was this program broken. They have like the 4th or 5th most wins of any program in the last 5 years in the sport. They're not broken, but they're not elite. And there's a big gray area gulf to wade around in between. All right? Not broken, but not elite. Okay? Tier 2, top tier 2 is where we've been. And people are going to want to say we're not there this year. Average DC got promoted and is in way over his coaching ed. Here's the thing about that. I've said this before too. And I don't mean this to be an insult to Marcus Freeman's actual practical coaching acumen. I don't mean this to be an insult in any way. But I never felt Freeman got this job because of what he does defensively. I've never felt that. Like, that wasn't the deal. I saw him getting this job because of that personality and vibe and the communication and the genuine and the recruiting and the personality part. I never looked at this as like the main reason I'm excited Marcus is the head coach is because of the way he calls the defense. That has never entered my mind at all. And maybe that's wrong of me or short-sighted of me. But I've never looked at it like that. I looked at it as Marcus got that job primarily because of his personality and what that can do for the program in mass, big picture, in recruiting, in relationship to building, and all that stuff. So, I don't know. GHSH, $4.99. There ain't even a comment. GHSH, $4.99. I appreciate it, but at least give me something I could read on your behalf. You could even make fun of me. I'll read it. Oh, what else do we have here? I starred a couple others. 614, give me some more. What's going on today? Happy Friday.
Hey, John, happy Friday. Thanks for taking my call. ND fan, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. So
how is your day-to-day life? How has your life been the last couple of weeks? Just want to ask.
It's not been easy. I'll be honest with you.
I bet. So what do you make? What do you make this week, my friend? We got to get a win. I'm not being picky. You just got to find a way. Can we do it? And if we do, what does it look like? Give me the roadmap.
Sure. One, we got to be honest with ourselves. I think we've all seen Pine. We watched the spring game. We've watched the games he's been in, and he struggles. He can't read the D, and he throws picks. And I think if we win, there's a chance it's going to be ugly. But I think we need to find out who steps up. Special teams, defense, and offense. Who's our leader? Yep. I would like to see Freeman even show a little bit of emotion on the sideline. Where's our fire?
Yep, it is time. Man, that's a really good point. It is time for the leadership to step up. And now you're at the point where, I mean, yeah, there's coaching and all that kind of stuff is an issue, but I need these players to assume some leadership and say, enough is enough, and we're going to stop this. And somebody needs to make the 1 or 2 or 3 extra plays it takes to win the ball game. Somebody needs to just take over and say, I'm making a play. We're not losing. I've had enough of this.
I agree. The other thing when I watched the Marshall game, I rewatched it the other day, and the execution on offense and defense, the effort. I mean, are we playing for ourselves? Are we playing for our coaches, our fans, pride? Go out there and tell Cal we are Notre Dame and put it to them.
Yep. But I don't understand why that mentality isn't already present. Like, why wasn't that the mentality against Marshall? That's where I'm struggling, man. You only get 12 of these a year. Every single one of them is so precious and so important and means so much. You only get 12 of them. You can't afford to go into any one of them thinking it's whatever. I can walk right through it. Like, you just can't do that. Every one of these means way too much. So I have a hard time with you not being ready to play good ball at home.
The only thing I would say to that is think about our off season. Think about the fantasy land, the honeymoon season, how good we were, what we got, and then first game we get hit in the mouth. Second half. Second game we get hit in the mouth, and then now we're like, oh shoot, this is a reality check. Let's step up.
Yeah, it's challenge week, and the real scary thing is, here's the scary part. We're all saying everybody needs to step up. Somebody needs to make a play tomorrow. The issue is, I don't want to even think about it. But what if it doesn't happen? Like, where's your pivot then? You know, like you had Ohio State, and that was its own dynamic. People pretty much understood, and then gave it kind of an open eyes to see what last week was like, knowing Ohio State was unique. And it did not go well. And I don't know what to expect. I'm appalled you're not ready to play at home. That's upsetting. It's devastating in some ways.
Very true.
So what would you do to get Pine going different this week? The offense has to be structured a little differently. How do you get him going and build him confidence?
Sure. So real quick, this is funny. I paid a little bit of money to Notre Dame over the summer and was able to attend 4 Notre Dame football practices. And I saw Pine when he got his reps. Man, I'm hoping he rolls out. It's going to have to. He can't throw it down the field. We know his arm isn't too deep, but I'm afraid Cal may be jumping routes just like Buckner last week versus Marshall. Just keep them positive, man. The line's really got to help Pine this week. If they do not help Pine, we are in trouble.
Yep. And I need to see, everybody's been talking about it. Make a concerted effort to get your best playmakers the ball more. All right. Give it to Tyree way more times. Pass plays, run plays, end around. I don't care. You need a spark to help your young quarterback. Actually, he's not even that young anymore. He's just more new. Not young, but new. I need to see some new things. I need to see some new looks. I need to see a new dedication to doing things the right way and attention to detail. It's rough.
I agree with you. Last thing before I go, John, thanks again for taking my call.
No problem.
I think Estime brings the fire. He may not be the quickest back, but watching practices, he was vocal and he brought the heat. I'm struggling. I don't see that out of Tyree the first 2 games. I'm looking for some emotions and kind of looks going through the motions. Anyway, John, my prediction is 27-24 ND.
There you go. It's another stress one, but I'm okay with stress with at least a win. It feels a lot better in stress on the other end. So we got to get it, my friend. So hang tough in there in Ohio. Don't let those folks in Columbus give you a hard time at work, you know?
Hey, I still wear my Notre Dame shirt out to dinner every night. Who cares?
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, it's going to be worth it. One day this will all come full circle, and then we'll be puffing our chests out around town, hopefully.
You got it. Thanks, John.
Have a good one. Enjoy the game. Call again.
All right.
Man, that guy living in Columbus, that's got to be rough. We got a couple super chats here. Appreciate that. Let's see what we got. John, you're up next. 612. Going to give me, I think that's Dr. John. He's going to give me a prescription for my blood pressure. See what you have to tell me, John. Make me feel better. You always have something for me, Dr. John. Help a brother out. I need it. Jared O'Connor, $5 super chat. Appreciate you very much. Think we have a bounce back week. Wearing green. Time for a big win. Mark my words. We cover the 10.5. Beautiful. Love it. That is, quite frankly, that's exactly what it should look like when you're playing Cal at home and you're wearing your fancy, special jerseys and all that. By the way, folks, the NIL era is upon us. They got names on the back of those green jerseys. Did you see that? They posted it on Twitter. They got the names on them. And you'll know that's something Notre Dame does normally only in the bowl games. However, NIL's changing things. You could put the guy's name on the back of a jersey and it changes the dynamic. I did think it was interesting that they're at home with those names on the back in the green. Then again, am I going to spend too much time thinking about that or talking about it? Hell no. We just lost to Marshall. I am not in the position to be worried about our jerseys this week. I am not. Jared, thanks a lot for the super. Appreciate that. Brian NY, $4.99. Let's get the quick game going with Pine Strength. Swing, quick outs, 3-step go routes. Look for a sluggo when Cal tries to jump a slant. Brian, I love this. Brian. I really do. I think Brian, he might be gunning for Tommy Reese's chair. Here's why I like this. Brian's talking about getting the quick game going. You know why I love that? Because your offensive line's bad. The quicker you can get the ball away from them, the better. Because they don't block anybody. They don't hit anybody. They don't move anybody. They don't. Bad footwork, getting pushed, turned around, bullied. All right? So you want to talk about a quick game? I love it. Get that ball out of there and then let guys do some things. And then I like the idea of that sluggo. Make it happen. This is a beautiful roadmap. I appreciate that. Those swing passes. Why is that so hard for Notre Dame? Dump that baby over to Tyree and let him run. I don't understand why that's so hard or feels like I'm asking for the world when I need that. Give it to me. Give it to me. Jesus, I don't even know. BVG should be the head coach is your name. The head coach of what? My word. Here's something else very upsetting, folks, on a Friday morning. This is slightly terrifying for me personally. I have been forced to think a lot more about BVG recently than I ever wanted to because people are starting to talk about firing coaches in season. And so I've kind of had to start thinking about that this week, which was quite disturbing because I'm trying to block him out of my life. See, here we go. Some people like those jerseys. Some people don't. Man. Indy needs to recruit the South or Midwest and get some corn-fed linemen. Hey, man. Notre Dame used to just be able to come over across that state border into my area, come into my league, the Chicago Catholic League, and just go around to all the little parochial Catholic schools and say, yep, you're a good big white offensive lineman. You're coming to South Bend. And then they go to South Bend. That's what they used to do. You could just eat just off those Catholic private feeder programs all over the city and the suburbs. I remember growing up, and my dad would say, oh, we're going to go to the high school football game. Lou's going to be in town looking at our guys. That used to be bread and butter, but the times change. You used to just be able to rely on, if you're Notre Dame and it's a guy at a Catholic high school, you're getting them. A private school, you knew you were getting them. That's just how it was. And that line right up with Notre Dame, those private parochial schools. Like where I went, Bishop McNamara. Nope. Times have changed, folks. That doesn't mean what it used to mean. It doesn't guarantee you what it used to. $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that very much. Gotta sit Diggs. He's scared with that shoulder. Tighten up personnel with two backs, Tyree and Estime. Use Frosh only if you need it. Here's I'm glad you bring this up. It was actually on my list as well. It really was. Something ain't right with Diggs, folks. Something's not right with Diggs. It's just not. So I don't know if he is still injured. I don't know if he is hesitant to engage. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. He doesn't block, and he literally like hasn't gained a yard rushing. I believe he had 7 attempts for 7 yards last week. And I know the offensive line's bad, but no, it's no production. And then he misses a block and gets quarterback killed. So I think that injury's bugging him. Either it's in his mind, it's affecting what he's doing, or it's causing a little bit of hesitation and then the play's screwed up. There's something going on there, but he does not look ready to play football. And that's an issue. That's an issue. I don't know. D-Rock Irish, he may have come back too early. Like, that's possible, man. He does not look right. And that's a problem. Kai Fresh here. LOL. Cal is a must win now. I don't know if that's somebody who hates Notre Dame and is laughing at our current situation, or I don't know if you're trolling us, making fun of us that we're in this position that Cal's a win. What do you want me to say? It's not good. I'm not proud of it. I don't like it. I said on my pregame show, I was embarrassed to admit how big this Cal game is for the Notre Dame program. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, folks. This is just where we're at. It's just where we're at. Okay? And I hate it. I hate it, but it's where we're at. I saw a comment earlier. Somebody said Marcus Freeman got baptized this week or last week or something. And I knew this was coming because I thought it too. Somebody did put in the chat, what did Marcus Freeman do? Convert over to Catholicism, hoping that would, God would help give him a win now. Finally, it crossed my mind. Do what you need to do, Marcus. Do what you need to do. Too bad JD Price is hurt. Man, that's brutal. I'm telling you, folks, when I was at the blue and gold game, JD Price stood out to me more than anybody else. And I'm just sitting there saying, this is awesome. Like, it's a freshman that you can tell can actually play. Let's go. And then he got hurt. That day was a bad day for the running back situation. Diggs is out and Price, it's brutal. It's brutal. Oh, man. Look at this. You want to talk about hurting me, Matthew? How in the hell are you a 10-point favorite when you barely scored 10 a game? I have no good answer for that, man. I have no good answer for that at all. It's a fair question, though. That is just the most logical question ever. If you can't even really barely score 10, how can you be a favorite by that much? Kent, what if Pine goes down? Steve Angeli time. And if he goes down, then it's Ronnie Paulus the 7th or whatever time. And if he goes down, then they call John and say, John, we know you're a dummy and you probably can't get in here with your grades, but we need you to run the offense. All right? That's what happens, Kent. Angeli time, baby. Oh, this is rough. It's rough, folks. We're going to go to 612 talking to you. Dr. John, help me out.
Hey, Dr. John here, John.
Give me the prescription. What are you prescribing me this week? It's got to be good.
Well, I apologize because I know this is your prediction show, and I probably should have called you Monday, but I was driving from Montana to Minnesota. And then Wednesday morning, I was driving from Minnesota to South Bend, so I'm sitting here underneath a maple tree near Bremen.
Beautiful.
And,
can you tell me?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
But what's the vibe, John?
Originally, what I wanted.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I said, what's the vibe? You got to tell me.
I wanted to put last week's loss in perspective for you and give you a prescription. And as you recall, I've been around for a while. I've been at some big games that were losses. I'll take you back to 1964. I don't even know if your dad was alive then. But anyway, so first year of Era, 9-0. He comes into the LA Coliseum. I'm in the Navy there. I get some tickets. We're up 17-0 at the half. Looking good. You can taste the national championship already. Okay, fourth quarter, 17-14. Still looking okay. And then one of the Lynch boys, I don't know if it was Jim or Dick, falls down right in front of me on pass coverage, and we lose 21-14. Then let's fast forward to 2012, undefeated season, playing Alabama at Hard Rock. I pay through the nose for a ticket. I'm in the second to last row in the stadium. I give up my seat to the kid behind me because he wants to sit with his friend. So now I'm in the last row, the suicide row, because you can go right over the wall.
That's great. That is hilarious. Make sure, John, nobody should give me a seat at the top.
But Alabama is, takes us down so fast, there's not that much pain. But anyway, so I looked at those two losses, and I looked at last week, and I'm going to put it in perspective. Last week was worse. It was just worse. And you nailed it Sunday when you said, what good? You can't take anything good out of that game.
That's where, John,
what do we build on from that game?
John, that's where I'm struggling, because I'm struggling to find foundational pieces with which to build around. And I know I get called like overly negative sometimes, or glass half empty guy was kind of my reputation, this fan base, for a long time. But what can you build on? You've seen a lot of Notre Dame football. What can you build on? Is it the defense because they're closer to being a functional unit? Like, I'm grasping here, but what do you, all your decades of seeing this program, where do you start to grab onto and build from, man? Make it work for me.
Well, yeah, I will, but I want to tell you what my prescription was going to be, first of all.
Let's get it.
And it was, I was going to have you see a medical doctor to put you in a coma for 2 months, because I'm afraid we could be looking at 6-6.
But wait, John, if they put me in a coma, who's going to call? No, we won't be able to have a show if I'm in a coma.
Well,
you just killed my show, John. You killed my show.
And
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
That's one of the reasons I scrubbed that prescription, because now that you've committed yourself to the show, you got to make a living.
Oh man!
The other reason I scrubbed it is after I watched your rant on Sunday. After, I'm feeling like crap because of the game, and once you had your rant, believe it or not, I felt a lot better.
Hey, John, that's what this is for. Do you know?
I felt better.
Hey, do you know how many people said, John, you were yelling, and it's just exactly what I needed right now. So just let me yell by proxy, and it saves everybody else's marriage, and their kids don't hate him, and their wife doesn't hate him. Just let me take all that for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. John. So
you did. Oh, it was like a shot of something that day. So anyway, to build on, I tell you what, I'm struggling.
I know.
I was in the linebacker. I was in the linebacker yesterday with my daughters, and on the table we were sitting at, there's a big poster laminated of Joe Montana for Guinness. That's now our official beer, I guess.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought of the line from All in the Family's theme song where they say, we sure could use a guy like Herbert Hoover again. And I sang to my daughters, we sure could use a guy like Joe Montana again.
Yep.
And maybe Angeli's the guy. I don't know.
Look at us, man. We're going through 1, 2, maybe lucky number 3 is the guy. Keep going.
Well, Montana never practiced well, so Devine wouldn't start it.
Yep. Some guys just shine when the lights are on, man.
He just had that.
Yep.
Yeah. He just had that it factor, and I don't know. I'd like to see Angeli tomorrow at some point. Maybe it'd be nice to see him because we're 3 touchdowns ahead. But
yeah, I know.
Anyway,
John, let me ask you before you get off the phone.
Yeah.
I'll be in town tomorrow, so I'm not there yet. What is the vibe? Does it feel like people are a little kind of on edge or wound a little tight? Like not the normal Friday build-up because people are kind of freaked out? Or like, what's your feel of the vibe? I'm always interested in that for home games. What does it feel like there today on campus?
Well, I'll tell you what. I probably will know more today. We're going to the bookstore. Then we'll go back to the linebacker before we go to Rocco's for pizza. But it was pretty quiet at the linebacker yesterday, except for us.
Good. I like that.
We were a little loud, especially when my brother and his daughter showed up. My other daughters had us all lined up in chairs, and we started doing the wave, which caught another table. By surprise, they started doing the wave too. So we got the spirit. We're going to go in there positive. We're going to have a good tailgate tomorrow and do our best to scream our lungs out.
That's all you can do this week. That is all you can do. So, all right. I'm just glad you're not going to put me in that coma. It'd be bad for business, John.
Yeah. Well, I know it would. Well, that's one of the reasons I changed my mind.
Good.
But I should provide you with the blood pressure therapy on a Monday, not on a Friday when you're trying to do predictions.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Dr. John doesn't like to do predictions.
There you go. Well, they're dangerous because then you put yourself out on the line there. Then who needs that?
Well, I tell you what, the last time I bet anything substantial on a Notre Dame game was 1974. And I bet a case of beer with a friend. And that was the, is it Anthony Davis? Was that his first name?
Yeah, I think
Anyway, we're up by 14 points at the half or something, and then he goes crazy. So anyway, I don't make predictions. I just we're gonna suffer through this lean time, and we're not gonna give up on them. They got to find something though tomorrow, John. They do.
Yep, they definitely do. Maybe with both of us Johns in the house, it'll rally them together. So wear your green.
What section are you in tomorrow?
I'm gonna be press box side, like 40-ish yard line are usually the tickets I have.
Oh, you got good tickets.
So I just know a lot of people, but I'm nervous though. I'm just telling you, I just don't have, I'm nervous. It's just, I don't like walking into these games where it's like less excitement and just more pure worry,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Every freaking game.
I know. But John, I appreciate you. You know what I might do? I might look you up tomorrow. You want to have a beer? I'm not kidding. You're a riot. You're one of my favorite callers. I'll text you when I get off the line. We'll meet up. We'll meet up tomorrow. I'm serious.
I would love to. We're going to be tailgating. You know where Dodd Road is?
Yep.
No, it's west of Ironwood. Not too far from the linebacker, actually. But you're not coming in till tomorrow, though, huh?
Correct. Yeah, I'll just leave early in the morning tomorrow. Get there early, 9-10 o'clock probably.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't I'll email you after I talk to my crew here and see what's gonna happen. Okay.
That's fine. I'll be tailgating on campus too. So if you ever, when you head that direction, my setup will be on campus. You'll have to walk that way anyway. So we'll connect it up. But I would love to meet with your group.
Where are you gonna be?
What's that?
Where are you going to be tailgating?
So I think it's set up right next to Touchdown Jesus. Private event there for the Players Club, and it's right on campus, literally in the quad, and they just fence it off. It's right by Touchdown Jesus, right on the side of it.
Okay. We'll try to get over there.
Hey, all you got to do is walk over there. If you walk over there, you'll see me. I guarantee it. I'll probably be waving my arms or yelling or doing something. You'll see me, I'm sure. You'll find me. Okay. I stand out in the crowd.
I will try to do that. Maybe text you if I'm on the way.
Beautiful. Do that. I'll text you when the show ends so you'll have my number. Thanks, John. You're a riot. Thanks for the prescription, my friend.
Okay. Hey, keep up the good work, John.
I appreciate it.
Go Irish.
Safe travels home, by the way, after the game. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
John's a riot. That is one of my favorite people, and I want to be friends. Ryan Lucchese, $20 super chat. Whoa, folks. USC fan here. I come in peace. 626 area code. This seems a little risky, but we're going to get frisky because he gave 20. 626, your thoughts are in the mix.
Hey, John, thank you for taking my call.
No problem at all. Thanks for calling. I always say this, and I said it about the Ohio State contingent as well. A healthy college football ecosystem needs some different fans in the mix. I love the fact that you're coming at it with a different perspective. What's on your mind?
So I got to say, as a USC fan, I follow Notre Dame because, rivals, we tend to follow each other.
Yeah.
But I took particular notice in Notre Dame this year, and that's how I found your show, because I've been following more closely, because you guys are going through something that we just went through at USC. You had a coordinator, the kids really loved him, he got promoted, and that's what happened with Clay Helton. So I've been seeing a lot of the chats from a lot of the fans, and they were saying a lot of the same stuff we were getting. Get Matt Campbell, get Luke Fickell, got to get Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with Marcus Freeman. And it's rough, man, because I felt the exact same way with Clay Helton. Now, it didn't work out with Clay Helton. But, we started 0-2. His first game was against Alabama at Jerry World. He got his ass beat. For us, what ended up happening was, he didn't do well. Our AD went to him, who we weren't big fans of, still aren't anymore, but they gave him the opportunity to make staff adjustments after the year. It sounds like you guys aren't big on Tommy Rees. I don't know much of him as a coordinator. I remember playing against him as a quarterback. We had a lot of fans, and I think you have the right perspective, John, where it's, I think Freeman has a way better resume than Clay Helton does. He recruited a lot better than Clay Helton does. I think what would probably happen if this season really goes south, Tommy Rees gets booted, and they give Marcus Freeman the opportunity to make the serious staff adjustments that he should.
I could definitely see that occurring. I could also see a scenario where Tommy Rees investigates NFL interest more seriously and kind of pursues those opportunities. And then it would be a way to have an amicable breakup from Notre Dame where nobody's a bad guy. Tommy served his Notre Dame time as a recruit, a player, coach, went to the NFL. Nobody could blame a guy for that. And it also gives Marcus the freedom to be able to kind of wipe the slate clean of the last biggest part of Brian Kelly-ness that remains in the program, go his own way. I could see that happening. However, here's one thing I do want to ask you about kind of the comparison that you brought up. Well, a lot of that I do agree with. Here's where I see this being two very different situations. Marcus Freeman was inheriting a program in a lot better, stable, sturdy shape than what USC's been the last 10 or so years. Like the difference in the Notre Dame program between when Kelly took it over and Freeman is night and day. And I think that's why Notre Dame fans expected to not have a drop off, because the program's in a very solid spot. Not elite when Kelly left. I'm not saying elite, but in a very respectable, solid spot. So people weren't open to dropping back a little bit. I think there's been more work to do at USC because there was more to burn down and then rebuild it the right way. So do you see that difference?
You're absolutely right. Obviously, neither situation is going to be 100% correct, comparable. There's always going to be some differences. Worst case scenario, I have a lot of friends who are Notre Dame fans, and they're with us in USC, where we love our football team, and the fan base does not have the patience, nor should the fan base have that patience, because they're the ones who are paying the money for the season tickets. They want to see a good product. Also, you want to see these kids grow up. You don't want to see these kids running out there getting hurt. And, trash talk aside, there's always lines that people draw. And I always hate to see a kid get hurt. When I saw Tyler Buckner go down, I was like, man, that really sucks. I heard you talk about him the other day about what happened with his past. But yeah, no, they're not going to have the patience, even though Freeman did inherit, like you said, a more stable program. At the end of the day, they want to see wins. I think you guys win against Cal this weekend. I know you talked about their defense. They do have a good defense. We play against Cal every year.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with Cal is that they are experts at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So I think you guys pull out that win. If everything does go south, say, worst case scenario, you guys don't win any games this year. At the end of the day, sometimes that can be seen as a good thing, because that's the wake-up call to the AD to say, okay, we need to get a real coach. Now, Marcus Freeman could turn into that. But, that's how we ended up with Lincoln Riley. We went through the Sark bull crap. Duke got fired for popping pills and then coming to practice. He's a lot better now. Don't get me wrong. He took it to Alabama, almost won. But back then, oh my gosh, that guy had problems. They promoted Clay Helton because he was the quote unquote adult in the room.
Mm-hmm.
He drove that program into the ground. And SC fans finally said, we're done with this. And then it forced Mike Bone to go out and say, you know what, we need to get a good coach. And we ended up with Lincoln Riley. So Freeman doesn't work out. That's how I see it going for you guys. Could be Urban Meyer. I know you talked about how he shouldn't fit in.
But now, wait.
Yeah.
You're actually saying that you think if Notre Dame goes like 2-10, 3-9, everything goes against them, that Notre Dame would actually consider making a change at head coach after this year?
Not this year. He signed a contract. I think it's a 6-year contract,
Yes,
right?
yes, it is a 6-year deal. I just think, man, you got to give this guy a 2 to 3 full more years to get his own recruiting going and then see if things tighten up a little bit. I just don't see that real heat on Freeman for a couple or a few years in this dynamic.
No.
That's just my feel.
No, you are 100% correct. Because the other thing that you mentioned was, I think it was on one of your previous shows, the image where this isn't the NFL where you can tank to get that number 1 draft.
Right. You just can't afford to do it because then you kill recruiting and then you're screwed the next 4 to 5 years. So it's all connected. Everything connects to everything else here.
It does. Now, and on top of that, you fire Freeman after 1 year. You don't want your program to start building up an image of being the Raiders where they just fire coaches every 30 seconds. If you're going to get a good coach to come,
right,
they want to know that, hey, if I screw up 1 game, am I going to get fired? They don't want to be thinking about that over their shoulder.
And the other thing is, you can't. Here's the other thing. I've had other people say, "Oh, I think they could fire him if it doesn't go well after the." The other thing is, that's a really bad look for Notre Dame. That's like getting up there and saying, we don't know what we're doing right away. And it only took us 1 year to realize it was never going to work. I do not think that's realistic at all, no matter what Notre Dame's record is this year with Freeman. With Reese or some other stuff, that's a lot more I'm open to it happening. I don't know, man. This is just not a good start. It is just not a good start. I was hoping Freeman-Riley should be a hell of a rivalry for about the next 10 years. Young, hot, up-and-coming coaches, like all that electricity, the brand names. This should be a great rivalry for the next 8 to 10 years. Don't you think?
Oh, no. And here's the thing. Us USC fans, or at least, trolls aside, each fan base has their trolls. But a lot of the USC fan base, we view the Notre Dame game as the game that wins it all. But to a point where we want Notre Dame to bring their best, USC brings their best, and then we settle it. Like, what's going on right now, starting 0-2, that sucks. I personally would not, talk trash to my Notre Dame friends about that until we get to the game. If you were a UCLA fan, oh yeah, I would be rubbing dirt everywhere. We hate the Bruins. We love it when bad things happen to them. But to me, the Notre Dame game's like Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. It's not about beating the Lakers. It's about beating Magic Johnson. Larry Bird always compared himself to Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson always compared himself to Larry Bird. And it was about beating the best. I want you 100% healthy. So, 11-0 when you show up at the Coliseum or we show up at South Bend, and then we play the game.
Yeah. And you know what else I like? Here's what else I like too. It's really interesting. Yeah. You're going to end up joining the Big Ten, and Notre Dame's still going to be on that schedule every year. So you're going to have that really strong out of conference, game with Notre Dame still. And there may be a lot of years where that playoff's on the line, and we're going to get a chance to settle it right then. And every year, man, it's beautiful. When both those programs are good, it's great for college football. It's beautiful for college football. So I don't know, man, but I'm nervous. I'm not ready to think about Thanksgiving weekend in LA yet. Let me get through Cal first. All right.
I think you guys will take care of business against Cal. It might be, like you said, there might be some ugly moments, but Cal has always been faithful in letting me down whenever I bet on them. I have a friend. I have season tickets to the SC games, and I have a friend who always tells me that I love Cal because they're like a free space on a bingo board, and I just don't. I get it. The Cal players always come in with a little bit of a chip because a lot of these players are players that grew up wanting to go to Notre Dame, going to USC.
Yep.
They didn't get the scholarship.
Now they got something to prove. Yeah, they want to beat that team that spurned them. So you're right. They'll come in with a chip on their shoulder. I think their defense will keep it close for a good chunk of the game. But Drew Pine's got first team reps all week. I think Tommy Reese, if he's got the chops, will have developed a good game plan to get him going. No deep balls, just enough to get his confidence, maybe some short passes out there just to show, hey, you can do this. Then maybe second half, fourth quarter, open up that playbook. I think you guys get the win. Beautiful. I appreciate the call from a USC guy. You're paying attention to us. I'm not ready to think about you guys yet. I have more pressing, immediate concerns. But I want you got to make sure you call back when we do get to that week and see where we're at. Reconnect on where both these teams are going into that. Will you do that?
I will. I'll give you a call back at during Notre Dame USC week. Question: do you come out to the Coliseum to tailgate during that game?
I have never been out to a USC game at USC. Never.
Okay.
And I even had a cousin. I have a cousin in med school there. She's invited me, but I've not gone out there yet.
If you do, you're always welcome to join up with me for my tailgate.
I really appreciate that. Let's keep in touch because it is something that I want to do. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. And if I actually know somebody out there, that'd be a lot better. So thanks for the offer. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, when Notre Dame comes to town, you see a lot of SC Notre Dame guys hanging out talking. When UCLA's in town, they got to go to the other side of the lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Talk to them. So.
I like that. That's beautiful. Well, thanks a lot, man. And I appreciate your interest in Notre Dame, keeping tabs on us. And college football is a lot better when we're both good. And let's hope that's the direction we both go.
1,000% agree.
Beautiful. Have a good weekend, man. Enjoy the football.
You too. Take it easy.
Take care. Man, I kind of hate to say how nice this USC guy was, but geez, D-Rock Irish, USC and Corvallis tomorrow night against Oregon State. Beaver Trap. Beaver Trap? What is this? Wrigleyville at 3 a.m. leaving the bars? Hey, John, come to my Ohio State tailgate. I am not going to Columbus, Kent. I'm not. I have no interest in ever going to Columbus for anything, especially going into that stadium. I also have no interest in going to the Big House. Those are two places I just never want to be. I don't want to be there. I have no interest. I don't like it. I don't think I'd like it. Most importantly, I know they wouldn't like me. So I have no interest in the Big House or the Horseshoe. None. Kent, I'll come drink with you, Kent, but it ain't going to be at an Ohio State game. I have no interest. No interest. Kent's laughing. Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it? 7:03, you're talking to me.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good. What's up, man?
I'm driving to Pennsylvania with my daughter to go watch the game with my son. Trying to recover from last week. How are you doing about that?
I'm in a weird place. Honestly, I'm in a weird place. I'm just genuinely surprised this is how it looks. And I just thought we'd be further along. And I have anxiety about it. And I'm just hoping it looks a little better this week. That's all I can hope for.
And after I watched the game last Saturday, I was so depressed. I didn't watch any college football. I had to go watch Saving Private Ryan trying to kill somebody because I was so depressed. Didn't even watch anything. I did watch Pro Football Sunday, but I'm so frustrated how horrible the offensive line is, how horrible the defensive line is playing this year. And and how the usage of Tyree, the non-existent use of Tyree, and Merriweather. I just don't understand.
Those are every single item you just mentioned is on my list of questions. Everyone. And the real killer in all this is, man, we knew the wide receiver room was going to have issues. Like, we knew the quarterbacks were work in progress. I didn't know both lines were going to be rough. Like, that is the kicker here that's really got us in a bad spot. The stuff we knew was going to be a challenge is a challenge. I can't also have all the other stuff be a challenge. Why are both of those lines not playing physical football? Tell me why.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how unphysical they are. They're getting beat at the point of the attack. The tight ends are missing blocks all over the place. And the thing is,
I don't understand the uses of Buckner. Why not on 3rd and 3 roll his ass out to give him an option of throwing the ball or running the ball? To either start running up estimates back to back like we did last week. Then after the game, the two of our main captains, Foskey is yelling at the team after they get the 95-yard drive. I go, dude, where the hell were you on that drive? Then I got Patterson taking off his clothes. Dude, you're the one that got the ball start and got us out 3rd and 3 when we were about to wrap up the game and got the 4th and 8. We had to give up the ball. I mean, where's the leadership there?
It's upsetting. How do you get this right this week? What do you build off of? That's a big question I've had for everybody who's called. Where do you start? What do you feel confident enough in to build off of in this game? You can't just start from scratch. So where would you start?
Hell, John, I really don't know. I thought we would be able to at least count on the offensive line this year to work from there. And I'm worried about Pine because if they can't protect Buckner, you saw when he came in, he got sacked back-to-back plays. He threw a couple passes that were ill-advised. And we don't feel like he has to do it by himself. I don't know. Only I can count on right now is the special teams. Our punter.
Yeah, John Sott, man. John Sott's the MVP, baby. 60-yard punts out the wazoo, and he gets to kick a lot of them too. That's the good thing for him. He gets a lot of work.
I was very confident this year. I figured the floor was going to be worst case 10-2. I figured Ohio State might be the loss, but I had a feeling we would do well. And last week I had a whole weird feeling. I told my son, who we're about to go see, I had a dream that we're losing 17-3 going into the 4th quarter. I got so bad about this Marshall game. And I'm watching, I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. I don't know that I find any positives that we're doing to say, if we just do this and do that, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it's fair to go into this really genuinely concerned about everything because you are not where you need to be in any way. And we learned last week, anybody can beat you any week if you're not ready. And you know what else, David, here's the other thing, man. I don't think enough people pay attention to this nationally. When a team comes into Notre Dame to play, especially a perceived to be lower level team, that is their Super Bowl. That is as good as it gets for that program in their life to be on NBC, go to fancy Notre Dame and play. So to us, it's little old Marshall or little old Cal last year, little old Toledo, little old Ball State, all those programs. This is their Super Bowl. When you come to Notre Dame, that's it. And we need to match that intensity. You need to find a way to match that. You need to understand these people are coming in here and it's their Super Bowl, even though it's the lowest rated game on our schedule. And you got to still step up in that moment.
You're absolutely correct. And the thing is, what gave me hope, even at the Ohio State game, was Marcus Freeman has coached 2 games, a major bowl and a big-time opponent at their place. He had them ready to play both times, something Brian Kelly wasn't able to do. And after halftime of both games, it was kind of wanting. We didn't get what we needed to get done. And we come out here laying egg emotionally against Marshall. And these players said they're dying to play for the guy, and I don't see the passion for playing for the guy. You think you would want to die for this guy to prove the fool who left us to go to Louisiana said that you guys weren't good enough to win. You want to prove a point to give a big FU to you guys, to him, to show we're going to win without you, fool. And they're not doing it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's a rough dynamic. And something's wrong, man. There's just you could just feel something hasn't all connected yet. Like I just feel like there's loose ends here. Like everything just isn't woven together yet. And I don't know how much of this is he's a new coach and it's just going to take a little time to gel. I don't know how much that is involved with this, but I just know you got to be able to find a way to gel without losing to Marshall. You can do both. You can work on things that be a work in progress and not lose to Marshall. Come on.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking about the defense as I'm watching it. That's supposed to be our strong suit with the defense. The secondary's played so much better this year than we can ever hope for so far, especially at the high safety. But the linebackers have been non-existent. And the guy who said he was the biggest badass on the planet, he's not much.
Yeah, listen, man. Hey, I thought those linebackers were going to be moving all over this year. I thought that was actually going to be a strength of the team, was that linebacker group. But they're not getting it done. They don't shed blocks. They don't get off anything. They're just not around.
Yeah, not. And do you remember the play where they did the pass to the receiver? He was going to throw the ball, then he ran right down the sideline last week.
Yep.
Remember that play? And you see the angles of the linebackers, Kaiser and Notre.
Yep.
They went inside. They're supposed to go outside because you want the guy to go back inside the field. And it's like, you both went there. What are you doing?
And it's all that little stuff. But like all that little stuff adds up to not be little anymore when you add it into 4 quarters, you know? So what do you think happens? Do we get the win and it's ugly, but at least we get a win? Like, how do you see this shaping out tomorrow?
I think, really, I don't know, but I have a feeling they're going to win. See, I love Marcus Freeman. I'm in Freeman and trust because he is such a class act. He's a great family man, and he gets Notre Dame. And he can. And I'm not going to give up on him, but I just think they have to come out. They will do it somehow. I just don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe we'll get a turnover. How's that? Maybe we'll get a turnover and maybe the defensive line who's going to get the bad offensive line will get some pressure on the quarterback, the guy from Purdue last year who we harassed.
Yep.
That would be nice.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I think that's an angle this week.
Yeah, and the thing is about Tyree, you told me the guy's had 9 touches in 2 games. He's averaging 5 yards.
Yep, it's
told me he
not enough touches at all. Criminally low amount of touches.
Yeah, he's your speak out. He's a playmaker. He gets one crack. He almost broke one against Ohio State when he ran it up the gut. And he's one play away. And Diggs, I like Diggs, but he's not there. He's taking carries the way he should not be getting. Estimate, I'll give more of a leash to. But Diggs, he ain't getting my rotation right now after that missed block he did on the pass protection.
Yeah, he seems he has issues. And I think it's probably tied to the injury, and that's making him hesitant. Then it's getting in his mind, and then you can't do anything when your mind's paralyzed like that. So are you going to the game? Are you going to be in town?
No, I'm going to Pennsylvania to go watch with my son. This is my last week of vacation. We were going to go off for the Clemson game, but some issues came up, so we're not. But I think we're going to Notre Dame Navy out here because I live in Virginia.
Gotcha.
So we'll go up. We met you at the bar last year.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that. I recognize your name on the caller ID. I remembered we met up. That's why I was asking if you were going to come in for any games.
No, we're going to go to the Navy game the week after the Clemson game in Baltimore.
Beautiful. Well, enjoy the game, my friend. Have a cold drink and hope for the best. We got to get a win no matter how it looks.
Yes, sir. Thank you for my call, and I hope we have something to talk about good for about 5 more weeks.
Beautiful. For sure, man. Thanks for calling, David. Enjoy the weekend of football. Man, I know David lives and dies with the Irish, man. He drove like through the night from Virginia to South Bend, met up with a group of us at a bar before the USC game last year. Good guy. Oh, Lawrence Dockery put in the chat that he's not buying the argument. And I forgot where it was. I scrolled through it. But he said, I'm not buying that Super Bowl stuff because you don't really see the top end teams, Georgia, Alabama, having problems with those teams coming to their place and challenging them. I mean, that's totally fair. It's also like proportion, the better you are, as a program and the more elite you are, the less the odds are you're going to have a problem with a lower level team at home too. So we're not all exactly on the same level here because those teams have more talent. So it gives you more margin to not have those concerns at home. I know this, Lawrence. When I've seen guys like Malik or Goolsby or some of the other former Notre Dame players that I've gotten to meet through doing this show, every single one of them to a man tells me, you have no idea how fired up every single one of these teams usually is to come into Notre Dame and play us. Every single one talked about what a pain in the ass that is. That you have a team you know is not that good that you should beat, but they're just annoying and they come out with their heads on fire because this is their shot, man. And it's Notre Dame. And no one likes us. No one likes us, nor should they. Nor should they. Notre Dame versus the world. Everybody should hate Notre Dame. That's how you know the world is operating correctly. All right? Kent, no live show tomorrow. I hate to do it, but I got to be on the road. There's no way I could do a live show tomorrow. I got to be on the road early. So it's just not going to happen. So I apologize. I am going to put out some content this afternoon to sustain you for tonight and tomorrow morning since I'm not going to have a show. Look at this. Frank, welcome in, Frank, ND fan here in Barcelona, Spain. You know what's amazing about the internet? What's amazing about the internet is a guy in Spain could be watching a guy in Illinois. It's beautiful in America. Thanks for joining me, Frank. What time of day is it there in Spain? I'm wondering what that time difference is. Yeah, McDaniel, Road Rage call-in show. That's exactly what we need, folks, is John driving around all mad doing this show. Could you even imagine? 260, you're my hero. You're on the line. How we feeling today? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, John. This is Pat.
Pat, you sound a little distressed in your voice. You just sound a little on edge. Am I right? You sound a little distressed.
I am mentally preparing for a game that's just played in sludge. How about that?
Yeah.
The 3 and out, the just praying for field position, maybe praying that a player makes a play, shows up, but I'm not expecting a whole lot because there's no reason to expect it. Until I see it, I won't believe it type of thing.
Yep.
Call me a doubting Thomas all you want.
But you know what? But that is the fairest position anybody could have is you come to a new year and then you can only go off what you see. This is no longer the off season where it's potential and what if this, what if that, I think this, I think that. Nope. I'm with you. You can only go off what you see to rely on. And what we've seen to rely on is depression.
No,
it is. It's depression. It's depression. That's what I can rely on. What can I rely on? Losing my mind tomorrow. That's what I can rely on. You know it's going to happen. Even if we win, I'm going to be mad somehow.
Of course. Because odds are the game is going to be just a depressing, I'm just can't. Is the game sold out? Do you know?
I think they did say it was officially sold out. You know what, though? There's going to be a lot of open seats. And you know what? Last week, there were a lot of open seats, and they were all the fancy ones. The padded ones, nobody was sitting in those. The big money people weren't coming for Marshall. They must have knew what was going to happen.
All I heard was Marshall fans all game.
I know why. I can understand why.
Yeah, of course. I just don't get it. And why are we back to the let's hope that the Ian Book / Tommy Rees, skill set quarterback can lead us to victory? I'm not saying that they won't win games like they should win games like this, but here we are again. It's a quarterback that I'm not knocking Pine. I wish him nothing but success, but he's not it. Okay, he is not it. And I pray that that Cal does not have cornerbacks that press our wide receivers, because my goodness, this is going to be a slugfest. We already know, you already stated, they're going to put 9 guys in the box. And if I was Cal, I'd do exactly what Marshall did.
Yep.
Bring my safety down and just send that sucker off the edge.
Because
our tackles nor our tight ends are going to block them. So.
They like to pinch. I was reading about this, and everybody I read said they like to have them 2 linebackers off the edge, and you never know when they're coming. And then when they do, you need to be ready to pick it up. Well, you know what makes me nervous? Because we're not good at picking up blitzers right now, and you cannot afford to have another quarterback beheaded.
Yeah, could you imagine?
So what do you do though? So then what do you do to get this offense going then? Do you move the pocket? Are you trying to get the ball to Tyree any way you can? Like what would you do to kind of inject some life into the operation?
Well, definitely got to get the quarterback out of the pocket. Man, with this line though,
it's rough. It's rough, man. It's rough.
Well,
I'm looking for some stability to build from somewhere, but where is it? Where is it?
Well, let me put it this way. All right, let me put it this way. Understand that the offensive line is a different creature as it relates to all the other positions in football. Okay, it has to play as a unit. And the thing that I guess the only trust me, they played like crap. And this is going to be the second time that this line will actually play a game together. Okay. And there's a lot to be said to that. There really is. I understand, watching as a commentator at home where like, why aren't they doing this and that? It takes so much time to get that trust, to get that communication, to get that feel, where, okay, if that twist is coming, you could just feel the guard, like, move over in the center, go, oh, okay, here comes that twist. I mean, it's hard for me to explain having played O-line. But you can just feel it, I tell you now, oh my goodness, man, I think they are so bad. Can I ask
ask you a question about that alignment's
Please.
Mentality?
Sure.
I've been thinking about this, and I'm not acting like I'm the only one. Other folks around Notre Dame has mentioned this as well. People are saying this offensive line does not have like a Q Nelson or a Martin, like a guy whose mentality is death and destruction and killing people. That's the alpha dog of that room. And then the younger guys want to be like, he sets the example. He's an absolute killer. And it doesn't seem like Notre Dame has one of those lead dog personalities in that offensive line room. Is that an issue, or is that being overplayed? The mentality of being a dog out there. I hear it being asked. Do you think there's some legitimacy to that angle?
I think obviously yes. You have to. The offensive line, okay, is the silent leaders. They're the people that they are going to go through probably the roughest season out of all the groups, because you're just constantly just pounded upon. When anything goes right, you get nothing. There's no accolades to say. When it goes wrong, guess what? That is all you're looking at.
Yep.
That.
It's like like an umpire, man. Like when you don't hear about them, it means everything's going just fine. And then when a bad call happens, then you make yourself attention.
Right. And I don't know how it's like. Okay, in that locker room. Okay. I'm used to where one of the captains was always part of the offensive line. And that sucker made damn sure that all the O-linemen were the first to show up to work out. So if it's 5 a.m. sprint in the morning, line was there 4:45, if not 4:40. Okay, you're first, and also, by the way, you're the last one to leave. Okay. Oh, by the way, when it comes to training table, small things like that, all these the cornerbacks and all these flashy players, let them eat first. We'll wait. But what comes with that is also the mutual respect with a lot of the other positions. We'll start noticing that leadership, and then it should just kind of permeate throughout. I don't know how it is in that locker room. I have no idea. To me, you got 2 true sophomores. Okay, in a couple of years, I hope that they're beasts. I hope that they're to that first round level. They're not there yet. Patterson, okay, it sucks when you got your captain, that leader, which I hope that's who he is. I don't know if he's a Nelson, where he would literally decapitate you type of person.
Yep.
But I hope that he is that person that's bringing that mentality to that offense line. I don't know. Okay, but then when he goes down that first week, that's a blow. The concern I have is you have, again, a 6-year senior, which, again, I'm not knocking Love, but he's not progressed to the point where I think he should be. And I'm sure injuries have a lot to do with that. But then you got this undersized Corral at center, and it's just kind of blah. And I don't listen to a lot of Irish podcasts when I don't really have a lot of time. It's pretty much like your show and that, but they will drop in one this week, and they're just talking, maybe they're scared of Harry Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Like, scared of Harry Houston? I mean, I'm not saying that. Like, the offensive line coach, oh, by the way, is the guy that, I mean, you're wiping off your face after you're done with the play because he spits so much in it and telling you where you can go and how you can get there. That it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what were they used to? Like, you're scared to make a mistake because your coach is going to be up your ass? What? This is college football.
I mean, we're
now at the stage.
I get that sounds weird, but people are asking all sorts of questions because nobody has any answers. So, people are asking everything because it just doesn't all add up. It doesn't all add up.
Well, are they quiet quitting? Is that what's going on? Is it quiet quitting? I'm hearing all about that now.
Jumping in on the new hottest trend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? I'm sorry. You're now getting paid. I don't give a shit what this guy says to you. You know what I mean? Like, you now have the ability to make $1 million before you take a snap.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear it. It's beyond ridiculous.
So
I guess that's the case.
But do you think that we at least, even if it's frustrating, get it done this week? Like, really annoying, it doesn't look great, but at least we scrape out a win? Or do you think this really keeps snowballing away from us?
Wow. Can we get a win?
I know, man. And it's Cal. And how are we here? How is this where we're at? How are you racking your mind saying, I don't know if we could beat Cal at home? Why are we here? It's driving me crazy.
Well, let me put it this way. Okay. What did you just talk about, the Super Bowl? Has Cal ever been to Notre Dame Stadium? I
don't know.
Have you ever been?
Every
time these teams come in, first time, that's all we're going to hear about. Starting that that's all Collinsworth's going to be talking about. First time.
Yeah.
But fine. It's the spark and the coach's quarterback and all that.
I know.
First time, they're going to be hyped, man. They're going to be ready.
Well, we need to step up, and you're going to find out a lot about the leadership, both in the coaching and of the players themselves. I am supremely interested to see if we come out with a different vibe and ready to stop the bleeding. But enjoy the weekend of football, my friend. Don't stress out too much, and then call me back Monday and we'll talk about it. All right?
Sounds like a plan, man.
Beautiful.
Good talking to you, John. You take care. All right.
Enjoy the weekend. Have a good one, man. So, I don't know, folks. It's Brian. Brian says, stop preaching about getting him out of the pocket. Start understanding that they need to get the ball out of his hands quickly. I think you could do a little of both. I don't think it has to be one or the other. I like both of those approaches, actually, because I don't think it has to be one or the other. I like this. Both of these, moving the pocket a little bit, like getting him rolling out, and those quick strikes are both ways to help mitigate an offensive line that isn't as good as you need it to be right now. So I'm all for both of those, actually. Get the ball out quick and then hope something happens and then roll them out and get whatever. You got to try something this week, folks. You got to try something. All right, that's about going to do it for the show. Reminder. Direct message me on Twitter at AlwaysIrishInc. Email me, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. If you really know you want to go to the tailgate thing tomorrow, I'm going to have a few passes. I'm not going to have like 20 of them, But if it's you and your wife or a couple people, let me know. Okay. Message me and I'll make an effort to connect with you and get you into this thing. And we'll all have ourselves a day and we'll commiserate together. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. No show tomorrow. Sorry, I got to be on the road early. So there's not going to be a morning show, but just know that I'll be keeping up on the vibe in South Bend and trying to get us a win any way I can. Thanks for being here, folks. No show tomorrow. Kind of hurts me, but we will be back Monday with the post game. Gotta be a win, need a win, has to be a win. No way around it. Have a good one, everybody.